Following the public release of the Bad Batch Season 3 trailer, there was an immediate concern that more canon events were about to be retconned in this new season, but this isn't as serious of a situation as many fans may expect. The final scenes of the trailer showed Asajj Ventress returning to animation to play a role in the upcoming third season. The Force-sensitive Dathomirian has, to various points in her life, been a Jedi Padawan, Sith Apprentice, Night Sister, and Bounty Hunter, and was a major player during the years of the Clone Wars. In her short time in the trailer, we see Ventress ignite her new yellow lightsabers, sporting a similar appearance to that of Dark Disciple, and rushes towards an enemy out of frame, although based on the editing it's made to make us assume that it's the Bad Batch facing off against her. The reason Ventress's appearance caused such a commotion online from fans was because the last time we saw the character, which was in the canon novel Dark Disciple from 2015 written by Christie Golden, fans had to read as the character sacrificed herself. The novel follows Jedi Maverick Quinlan Vos as he's sent on a mission to assassinate Count Dooku towards the end of the Clone Wars. Because she served under him and knows Dooku better than most, Vos was able to partner with Ventress as they both wanted Dooku dead. In order to defeat Dooku, Ventress taught Vos the ways of the dark side, but eventually Vos went too far and was turned to the dark side by Dooku. Although the love that had grown between Ventress and Vos was eventually able to bring Vos back to the light, Ventress sacrificed herself during a duel with Dooku, where his Force lightning killed her. So with many fans operating under the assumption that Ventress had been dead for nearly 10 years now, it isn't surprising to see the shocked reactions coming from the trailer. But what makes fans upset is that this isn't the first time canon has ever been rewritten, specifically referring to the canon novels. Disney's acquisition of Star Wars and the clean slate wipe that took place meant that fans would now be able to take in a singular Star Wars timeline, where every new story added to the same universe. There was no jumping around or different stories from the same characters at the same place in their lives. Everything was supposed to fit together like a nice puzzle. However, recently, it seemed as though that ideal has gone out the window. The Clone Wars Season 7 depicted a drastically different version of the Siege of Mandalore than was presented in the opening chapter of the Ahsoka novel. The way she captures Maul is different, and her lightsabers have a different color to them as well. And then Tales of the Jedi changed what Ahsoka went through during her time in hiding on a farm planet, and how she reconnected with Bail Organa to serve the rebellion. Those are the two main examples that come to mind, but there are a few other smaller ones out there since then. So with all of that out of the way, it makes sense that fans would be upset realizing that Dark Disciple, another beloved canon novel, has seemingly been ignored in the storytelling process of the Bad Batch Season 3. However, like I stated earlier, it isn't as serious of a situation as we may expect it at first. As a part of the article on StarWars.com released with the new trailer, Brad Raw, supervising director and one of the executive producers of the series, said that while they won't spoil anything, any new storytelling with Ventress will align with the events of Dark Disciple. Prior tales will be honored, and no retcons will occur. The big question coming from this is how is this possible, for Ventress to appear again? Both Dark Disciple and the Bad Batch take place around the same time period, roughly between 20 and 18 BBY, but there's a minimal crossover if at all. The likely options seem to be either that the scene is a flashback, Ventress ran into the Bad Batch at some point during the Clone Wars, but after she got her yellow lightsaber. It's possible but doesn't seem like it would help the story at all. And then obviously the other situation is if Ventress somehow survived the novel and her sacrifice. And I feel like there's a lot to unpack with this one. I'm personally cautious of how they do it as to not undermine her sacrifice in the book. It showed how much she still cared about Vos, and also how there was still good in her at that time. We saw the Great Mothers raise the dead in the Ahsoka series, which we know is an ability of the Night Sisters. I feel like she would probably look a little more undead than what we're used to seeing from her, so based solely on the appearance in the trailer, it's hard to believe if that's the case. She could have faked her death, which while it would be hard to comprehend, seems to be the most likely explanation. There have been jokes online of her faking her death to get away from Vos, but while that would undermine the entire connection that they built in the novel, if the darkness in him scared her that much, I guess it would be possible. No matter how she survived, though, if I had to guess, I would say that she gets brought into the story through Sid, who has connections with many bounty hunters. It's still too early to know anything for certain, but one thing is for certain, fans don't have to stress about any more retcons appearing in the season. It hasn't even come out yet, so there's no reason to get upset over what we don't know. Let me know how excited you are for the Bad Batch Season 3 in the comments below. Remember to like the video, and subscribe for more coverage of the Bad Batch. As always, thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you. Always.